Hi. On Friday, I went to the concert of one of my favorite K-pop groups of all time, B1A4, and honestly, I had a fantastic time. They were amazing on stage, and it was such a memorable experience for me because it was the first time I had ever seen them live, despite being a fan since 2011, their debut year. Basically, they have not been back to Hong Kong since 2017, and when they performed in Hong Kong in 2017, that was about maybe 2 months before I moved here. So it was honestly an experience to remember, but I'm actually here to complain about the organizers of the concert. I actually have notes written down because there were several sources of frustration for me and other fans, and I have some screenshots as well. But this organizer, they did some questionable things, and I just want to vent about these issues, I guess. I'm not going to name them because I don't know what power they have, but I feel that they need to do better for future events because I was just scratching my head so many times because of their decisions. I just want to say straight away as well that I understand that being able to go to a concert in the first place is a huge privilege. So whether that's the artist that you're interested in performing near you or you being able to afford the tickets. And I don't need to go to a concert, but I did make the decision to go to the concert, as did many other people. But I feel that when you are paying for something, you still have the right to mention it when you have some frustrations about how things are dealt with or how things are arranged, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I understand that I'm in a position of privilege to have been able to go to this concert in the first place. I did pay money to go there, and concert tickets are not cheap, especially nowadays, and especially if they are like overseas ones. I totally get if the video sounds like first world problems because at the end of the day, I'm not going to lose sleep over these frustrations, but yeah, if you just want to hear me complaining, then feel free to continue watching, and if not, that's okay. You can just not watch this video as well. Let's just start with ticketing because that is when people first notice something not quite right. So the concert was announced on the 20th of May and ticketing would take place on the 28th. But on the 27th, there were some tweets shared by, I guess, an anonymous user. Let's just say this is alleged, okay? But the user said that the organizer sold the first 3 rows of the seats already to scalpers before the official sales, and they were contacted by people who had heard rumors of this and didn't really deny or remedy the situation. I will just read to you the Google translated tweets so you can get an idea of what they said. So the organisers of B1A4's Hong Kong concert are selling the first 3 rows of tickets to scalpers, and the scalpers are charging double the price for the first 3 rows. Also, when fans reposted the organisers' concert Instagram, the organisers sent DMs to the fans, telling them that they have to pay more to get good seats. I think it is really selfish and irresponsible for the organisers to use the fans' love for their idols to make a lot of money. I'm telling you this because the agency needs to know about the situation, and then they tagged the company, like the official Twitters. So I understand that scalping is always an issue with concert tickets, and in Hong Kong, there's really not much done to remedy the situation of scalpers. It's just something that's expected. I'll actually show you the original pricing here so you can see how much people had to pay for the tickets officially. So as you can see, the top tier of tickets was 1,688 Hong Kong dollars per ticket. And there's also a $12 service fee or something like that on top of that amount. The middle tier was 1,288, and then the bottom, like the cheapest tickets, were 888. In Hong Kong, as well as some other places, I believe, there is usually a no refund policy on concert tickets. So sometimes people just have a whole load of them that don't go to anyone because they don't get resold. And that becomes a big issue for groups who don't have huge fan bases of people who are just like dying to get tickets, So because of scalpers, sometimes there could be some empty seats because people who wanted the tickets couldn't get them easily. And yes, I understand that the goal of an organizer is usually just to make as much money as possible, really. But to have sold, allegedly, the first 3 rows of seats before the official sales even began, it's just scummy behavior, because there were so many people who were on the ticketing app or website on time, refreshing and refreshing for like an hour before they could get any kind of decent seat in the category that they wanted. I was on there right on the dot trying to get a ticket for the most expensive tier, and I could not get a single ticket for at least an hour. I was sat there for an hour trying to get just one crumb of a ticket, and it was just brutal. So to think that the entire first 3 rows were already unavailable when sales began because they were going to be sold off for like double price somewhere else, was just, it can't be right, can it? Surprisingly, that is not all I have to say about scalpers. So I actually found listings of tickets for the first 3 rows of seats on this online secondhand marketplace in China. In English, it's called Goofish or Idlefish. But what was interesting is that the tickets were being advertised as having additional benefits as well. Notably, one-to-one photos with your favorite member, but these were not benefits that were disclosed by or advertised as being available by the organizer. Obviously, they were to make people want to pay more to get these tickets, aside from being, like front row, but to be able to pay for this additional benefit on this other platform from a scalper is just, okay, it's like all alleged, but then it's just like another indication to the fans that the organizer was in on it, because they're providing this other unseen benefit that no one else knows about, right? So yeah, that was the whole thing with scalpers. Very sketchy. But most concert goers expect scalping, even if it's facilitated by the organizer, I suppose. Let's finally move on to point number 2, which is related to the benefits being offered by the organizers of the concert. So the concert was actually a fan con, which is usually, I guess, maybe a cross between a fan meeting and a concert, where it's a little bit more intimate, I suppose. So often with these types of events, they will provide some kind of benefits, like you can access sound check, you might get a group photo, you might win something signed. And this was true for this event as well. However, the organizer of this concert, or FanCon, changed the benefits after the ticket sales. I think that most people accept that the organizer can make changes when they're the ones in charge of an event, but is it not false advertising to say that you have the chance of getting, or you are guaranteed something, and then changing it to something else afterwards, or allocating the benefits differently, quite differently in some cases, after people have already bought tickets? There is usually a no refund policy on concert tickets. I will put the images up for you to see of how the benefits changed, but the original image of benefits I saved on May 20th, and then the updated or changed benefits were shared by the organizer's Instagram on June 6th. So initially, if you paid for the most expensive tickets, you would be guaranteed sound check and hi bye. Not even doing high touch anymore, it's just a wave now. You could also get the chance to win a 1 to 20 group photo. So 400 people could win that, and 40 people could win a signed Polaroid, and 130 people could win a signed poster. And as indicated in the original image, for the middle tier, they could get soundcheck and hi-bye as well, but they would not have a chance to win the other prizes, and then for the cheapest tickets, they would not get any benefits at all. So when you look at the original benefits, people would be inclined to buy the most expensive tickets because they have the most benefits, right? Like, you don't have any chance of winning a group photo, signed Polaroid, or signed poster if you buy any of the other ticket types. And if you want just sound check or hi bye, you would go for the middle one. So color everybody surprised when they saw changes to the benefits in June. So that's well after people had bought their tickets on May 28th. There are positives and negatives to the changes, I will say, but I'll just go through them. So everybody could get photo cards, everybody could get sound check, everybody could do hi bye. The highest tier tickets, everybody could get the 1 to 20 photo now, 1 being the group and then 20 being the fans. So that's a good thing, of course, because now everyone who paid for the highest tickets could get a photo of the group and not just be randomly drawn. But also they added another type of group photo, which was 3 people with the group. So it'd be like 3 to 3. So 30 people could win that. So that was a nice thing because people who paid for those tickets now had that chance to have a smaller group photo. But then they also changed the number of Polaroids. So I think that they kept the number the same for the highest tier, so 40, but then middle tier would get 30, and then the cheapest tickets would get 20. And then the signed poster, oh, they have a typo on it, but signed poster, the number changed. So the number for the highest tier decreased to 90, and then middle tier would get 50, and then the cheapest tickets would get 30. While I'm not speaking for everyone, I feel that fans did not really have an issue with the middle tier and cheapest tier ticket holders now receiving some benefits, but rather that the company falsely advertised the benefits that you would get if you paid for the highest tier. Because for some people, they wanted the chance to win a signed Polaroid or signed poster, so they opted for the highest tiered tickets, the most expensive ones. But then suddenly you could get a chance to win these in any ticket tier. So people were commenting on the Instagram of the organizer saying things like, well, if I had known that I could get these benefits or like the chance to get these benefits in any tier, I would have just bought the cheapest tickets or the mid-level tickets. And some people did also feel wronged that the signed poster amount for the most expensive tickets had been decreased as well. So originally they were advertising 130 signed posters for that tier, but then it was reduced to 90. I actually did win one of the posters, but that's beside the point. In summary, like I said, there were some positives and negatives to this. So on the positive side, everyone could get a group photo if they had the most expensive tickets, although I'm not sure when the organizer is actually going to be sharing these pictures online. They just aren't very present. On the negative side, the number of signed posters advertised for the most expensive tickets was reduced, and just a lot of people were upset that they felt they had been persuaded or I guess lured to pay for the highest tickets when they could actually get, in the end, similar benefits from paying for the cheapest tickets. Let's move on to my third point, which honestly had me scratching my head a little bit. So I'm not sure about other concerts, fan meetings, fan cons, and so on, but every single one I've been to in the past, they've announced the benefit results as a list shared online or on the big screen at the venue, or like just somewhere, like an official list. Okay, so they would put the ticket numbers very clearly for everyone to see, so that you can check against your ticket number and then figure out, did you win anything? So it turns out that the way this organizer distributed the results of benefits was that they taped envelopes under seats, and inside, if you won something, there would be a slip of paper. Like, I won a signed poster, so my slip of paper said something like, "Congratulations, you won a signed poster." Someone next to me had a photo card with a star on the back, and that meant that she had won a signed Polaroid. This was not a good way to go about distributing these results, and I'll tell you why. Obviously, this is just all my opinion, but I have talked to some friends about how it was, and they do also feel that it's not the best way to go about distributing the results of things that people paid for the chance to have. It's very easy for things to go unfairly when done like this. And let me just say, I've never been upset about not getting some kind of benefit before, because I know that going in, it's always a chance. And I mean, if I buy a lottery ticket, do I expect to win the lottery? Not really. So it's not about being upset that, oh, I didn't get the thing that I wanted, because like I said, I did get a signed poster and I should be happy with that. But okay, so as I said, normally benefits are revealed in a list online or on screen. So usually the organizers will, I don't know, use a randomizer to pull the ticket numbers. But in this case, they were physical results. And we were told, like, during the show to check under our seats to see if we had won something. But some people had already discovered that they had done it this way, because literally someone near me found theirs had fallen to the ground and discovered it and learned that they had won a signed Polaroid. So really great for them, obviously. But then if people discovered this early, it gave them the opportunity to, sneakily check other seats without other people knowing that, oh, that's where the benefits would be found. I saw people, everyone saw people when it was time to leave, checking checking all the empty seats if they had benefits still under them, gathering these up. And there's some concerts where there might be some empty seats where, people didn't show up or whatever reason there might be. People sometimes move to closer seats to get a better view, obviously. So what if someone, checked their seat and then moved to another seat and then had multiple benefits? So the result of this was that there were people I saw with several signed Polaroids when you should be at most getting one. So when I went to get my signed poster, it was the same place where you would get signed Polaroids. So I just showed them my slip of paper and they gave me the poster. But then there were people redeeming like several signed Polaroids. And at every event that I've previously been to where the organizer would provide a list of the ticket holders who won benefits, you would be required to show your ticket as proof to the people in charge of distributing the benefits. And that ensures fairness, that you are receiving the prize that you have been drawn to win. I've heard that in some places they use wristbands, but whatever the case may be, at least you are getting what you have been officially allocated. But in this case here, where the benefits were just dependent on if you had the envelope with the slip of paper or photo card inside, people could just redeem multiple benefits if they were lucky enough to find multiple envelopes, and that was just fine by the organizers, and no one could really do anything about it. And I guess it could be argued that, well, if they didn't, discover the envelopes, then they would just be left there and then there would be a bunch of unclaimed prizes. But I don't know. There's just something about it that feels unfair, that people can just be, lucky enough to be near some empty seats and gather up all these prizes that should have been distributed more fairly. And presently, on the same platform that the front row tickets were being sold on, so Goofish or Idlefish, you can find signed Polaroid resellers from this concert. There is someone on there selling 5 different signed Polaroids. And it could be true that, I don't know, some friends gathered together and they felt that it would be best to sell them because, I mean, people can do what they want with things that they fairly own, right? But usually when people receive these benefits at the venue, they try to trade for the member that they want the most. And then they usually will treasure that benefit for who knows how long. But to see a seller on this platform selling 5 entire signed Polaroids that could have gone to people who would have really treasured them makes me really frustrated. And it's not like I'm really sad that I didn't get a signed Polaroid. I don't have a signed Polaroid. I've never won one before, but it's like, it's fine because I don't really expect to win things most of the time. But just seeing that these are being resold for such prices. And what's even more frustrating is that things like this are facilitated and enabled by organisers like this. I feel that Hong Kong concert organisers are often criticised. They come across as incompetent at times, if I'm being honest. But I feel that this is the first time where an organiser or an event that I went to has had multiple issues that should not have happened. And I'm sure a lot of people probably have some horror stories of concerts they've been to, whether they were in Hong Kong or elsewhere. As fans, it's just really frustrating that it's so easy to, I guess, take advantage of a system or get what you want thanks to an organizer who allows these things to happen, whether it's paying more for front row tickets that were never available in the first place officially, or being able to, take a whole load of benefits that could have gone to people who actually wanted them at the venue rather than being sold online for so much right now. I guess I don't really have any meaningful goal of this video aside from venting my frustration towards this organizer of an event that I went to, because I don't think that organizers are going to, care or change the way they are as long as they're making money. But I really do think that some organizers need to do better and I guess not just think about profiting, even though I know that's why they are here and that's all they really want to do at the end of the day. But yeah, it's just kind of disheartening thinking back on some of the things that they did or enabled. Let me just say, allegedly again for some of the things I talked about. But yeah, regardless of these frustrations, I really did have a really good time at the concert. It was so much fun. Everything was on point from the group members. They sounded fantastic. They engaged so well with the audience. It was full of people who had loved them for a long time as well, had been waiting since 2017 for them to come back. So that was just great. And I will remember the experience very fondly and hope to see them again. But yeah, I hope that this organizer will not be responsible again in the future if they haven't changed their ways, because I doubt that they will change their ways. Or perhaps I will have the opportunity to go to Korea directly to see them. Shout out to the crappy concert organizers, do better, and yeah. Thanks a lot for listening to my venting. Bye bye.